Lujan.
Hey, welcome back with my in-studio guest, Mr. Tim Rohr, junglewatch.info. Tim?
Yes.
Anyway, so we have found this documentation, and again, it's being reviewed, I guess, whether, again, there's any civil violation. You're waiting to hear back from Rome, hopefully, when things come out one way or another. I'll read about it in your blog. I'll read about it, and then you'll be my guest again.
Okay.
Now, let me ask you this, because then with this now, you know, again, these documentations, I mean, they're I mean, these are very damaging, and as I said, and these are actionable offense. You know, Rome must be saying, well, you know, we got to fix this. We got to fix this. But in the meantime, and I'm, you know, I'm not an insider in this, but I read it, and I'm learning more, and I'm trying to put things in perspective. I'm trying to listen, or I read what the Archbishop puts out, and again, I'm trying to be in the middle of this. But as you said, when he puts things out, I see that only certain things are put out that maybe favor his point of view. You know, if you say if there's a whole paragraph and there's a couple of words that are in favor of what he says, that's what is put out. But you have made available to the public the full documentation. It says, well, yeah, he says this because these two words are nice to him, but this is the whole documentation. Read it and decide for yourself, or, you know, where you want to go with this, or what it is. But you know, in this process, I've seen it, and I'm infected with this as well. I mean, I don't donate anymore. I mean, I donate to a priest that I like very well, you know, very much. So I don't anymore. You know, I just don't anymore do that. The church has been, the Catholic Church here in Guam has been really harmed by this, and it's divided the church. Do the higher ups? I mean, does this church see this? Because I hear this from priests as well. I mean, from you know, I know some priests who are again with the neo-cats, I guess, and then of course the priests that I've known for years, and they're even divided. And so if they're divided, I mean, we the flock, we're going, man, if you guys can't get it together, how do you expect us to get it together for you?
Yeah, certainly it's a challenge for everyone. In fact, it's actually a good challenge, because our faith shouldn't be in men anyway. You know, I mean, God gave us a hierarchy to run the church, and they're accountable. But it shouldn't affect whether or not we you know, want to go to heaven or not, and based on Father so-and-so or the bishop or anything else like that. So for the first time, many people are actually being challenged to actually learn about their faith. So, you know, sometimes God allows these things to happen. But essentially, you know, people are curious as to, you know, what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And sometimes I have to ask myself, because it's taken a tremendous amount of energy and time and away from my family, and it's actually caused quite a bit of harm on a personal level because of the cost of doing it all. I would say, like, on the first level, it's just simply a matter of justice to Father Paul and Monsignor James, who were so horribly and publicly mistreated, you know, by this bishop, and with no one to stand up for them. And of course, that's caused a lot of damage for people, you know, shaking their faith and, you know, those kinds of things. And I'm hoping through this process that, even through my own blog here, that now that I have that readership, that I'm able to get the message out about, you know, what we really need to be doing and what we really need to be believing, and so on, so we can heal, you know, once all this is done. Of course, it's really never done. The devil's always attacking the church, you know, from the inside. But here's where I'm kind of going, Jess, is that if I have sort of a goal in mind, and it's not just my goal, it's actually the church has recognized the need for this. The fact is that the churches in general, all around the world, is in extremely bad shape.
Sure.
For many reasons, but one of those reasons is what's called clericalism. It's an out-of-control clergy that has no accountability. In the old days, you know, there was a much more accountability. A priest, you know, if he was in a religious order, was accountable to a superior and stuff. Now, on paper, it's still that, but we see religious nuns and priests like this Father Pius. He's actually a Carmelite friar from Malta, who actually is responsible responsible to his superior, but he's been out, traveling the world for 30 years with no accountability at all. That wouldn't have happened, back in the pre-Vatican II days. But we've got a lot of this sort of renegade clergy running around, just, and in the case of bishops, it really has no accountability at all. Now, as a family man, I can tell you that one of the things that is a great mercy, is the fact that I am a husband and a father, and that I am accountable to them, to my wife and to my children. And when worse comes to worse, that keeps me on the straight and narrow. Now, I have a healthy fear of hell that will keep me from doing some really bad things. But really, if there's ever any kind of a temptation, the very fact that I could disappoint the people that I'm accountable to and love, that helps me. It's a great mercy, okay? And that's the way it's set up. So in the case of the clergy, especially the current Pope is requiring more transparency and accountability, on the part of these religious leaders. Not just because we lay people want to be mean and want to know where our dollars are going, but really for the good of the priest, or the good of the bishop, because if he's accountable to the people that he is accountable to, then maybe he'll think twice before he falls into a temptation and spends that money someplace that he probably shouldn't have spent it. So the Pope has asked all of the world's bishops to actually be open, publish your financial statements and so on. Now, all of this came in the wake of the child abuse thing, which I actually saw firsthand in Los Angeles and saw what these guys got away with. I saw where my own pastor was paying people of church funds, his own victims, to be quiet. Now, if all of that had to be transparent at some point, they'd think twice before they do these kinds of things. So long term, this is really where we want to go. This is why the CCOG has made accountability and transparency its primary theme. Because when we have that, a lot of these other ills go away. The fact that the Archbishop has been able to do these things, to be able to clandestinely give away a $70 million piece of property, is a terrible, a gross violation, of his duties. But if he was required to be transparent, well, he actually was required, but he didn't, So, but
Tim, when you look at what you were saying earlier, where the church, when we say the church, the Catholic Church in general, worldwide, is in a bad way, predicament, right? I mean, it's so relevant in just the latest that what happened when Ireland just voted. Again, they approved same-sex marriage.
Most Catholic country in the world.
And the news reports, they said, in the very beginning, they said, this won't happen. It's not going to happen because it's very Catholic, and the church, Well, the church was irrelevant at this vote. The church had no say. The people didn't care what the church had to say because of the troubles and again of the abuse of the years. So the church had no relevance in this. It was the people deciding they wanted equality, and that's how they vote. They didn't vote with their faith. They voted with, I guess, equality. And so you have, as you said, the most Catholic country in the world has allowed this, and the church had no say because they were irrelevant in this vote.
There's only one country that's more Catholic than Ireland. That's Guam.
That's Guam.
If we look ourselves as a country, and we're on the verge of legalizing same-sex marriage here too, and the church is irrelevant for a lot of the same reasons.
You were saying earlier in these documents and everything, and you said, watch out the details. This is truly where it says the devil's in the detail. Be right back.